Welcome to Destination Linux, the ultimate open source time machine, blasting off into 2026. Who'd have thought we'd have made it to 2026? Well, looking back at the wild ride of 2025 in this episode, I'm your captain this week, Ryan, firing up the warp engines with my stellar crew, ready to explore the final frontier of Linux and beyond. Jill is our resident retro tech explorer and animation wizard, beaming in from her vintage PC bridge. Mo, welcome back from Red Hat. Our special guest host today. First time Mo has ever hosted an entire show with us. So thank you for being willing to do that, because you're an amazing guest, an amazing interview. So we're so excited to have you on. You're a special guest engineer bringing enterprise level warp power to the console, which we need. We need for this show. This week, we're making bold predictions for Linux and open source in 2026. If you've been with us for a while, you know we're like on our predictions, Jill. I think about 100% on all of our predictions, right?
Quite, but
no,
we do occasionally get stuff right.
Okay, maybe it's like 30%. Maybe it's 100% wrong on our predictions. One of those is true. You have to let us know. Go back into the prior prediction episodes, which are always at the end of the year. Let us know how we did. We're going to be recapping the biggest wins and surprises of the past year as well, plus a few extra goodies from the logbook. So strap in, sync your repos, and remember, the future of computing is open, and it's looking brighter than ever. Engage. This is Destination Linux. So before we get into our community feedback, just a quick announcement that this will be our last show this year. And then we'll be back on January 7th and returning. And we already have a very, very special guest set up for January 7th. Probably one of the most special guests we've had in a really, really long time. It's a blast from the past. If you've been with us for a while, we're so excited to have them back on the show. That will be your hint. Back on the show January 7th. So now we're getting their community feedback. Today we received feedback from Dan, who says, I know that you were just giving an illustration of the wastefulness possible with AI when you pose the question of what is the best cranberry sauce. But I have a suggestion. Okay. So to give people context, in case you missed the last episode, or maybe it was the one before that, in my general just ramblings of nonsense, I was talking about the fact that we have so much AI being wasted on worthless prompts. For instance, every search engine now, for the most part, when you type something in, is trying to give you some type of AI-related suggestion back on what you're talking about, which does a lot of things. Number one, it hurts the people who create content for websites that the AI is pulling from, because they rely on you clicking the link, maybe them showing you ads or trying to show you about their product or why you're going to their site. But that AI summary kind of takes all of that away. You don't have to do that anymore. But also, we talked about the cost of everyone's power going up, the cost of all the hardware components and everything being used for AI. And, you know, the hope is, a lot of people's hope is that AI is going to be this amazing tool. And in some cases, it's already being applied as an amazing tool that's going to help the world in so many ways. But why are we using it for silly things like people searching for what's the best cranberry sauce? And thus, our listeners, being the smart Alex that they are, decide to write in to tell us what the best cranberry sauce is. So they go on to say, I'm of 100% Swedish, so I grew up with lingonberry sauce. I think it's lingonberry. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but we'll go with that. Often used on Thanksgiving turkey instead of cranberry sauce. To me, it has a slightly less bitter flavor than cranberry, and it also makes a great jam to put on your bread or toast. That could all just be my personal prejudice. They go on to say IKEA carries it, but I don't know where my mom got it when I was growing up over 70 years ago. Possibly because I grew up with lingonberry sauce. I like it better than cranberry. It's very similar tasting, and also use it on toast or bread. Like I said, this is what I love about our community. I can say some really silly, stupid thing, and you all will latch onto it. But because you latched on to that silly, stupid thing as my example, I went and took massive amounts of AI processing. Like I have these pro subscriptions and I put it on their top thinking, deep thinking modes to come up with the best evaluation system first for cranberry sauces. So I had it come up with an algorithm to be able to rate cranberry sauces effectively, to determine whether this, email was correct or not. And so it came up with a system of taste balance weighted at about a 40% of, for its rating for cranberry sauce. So what's the best perfect sweet tart ratio? Texture at 20% weighting of whole berry chunky fresh versus jellied smooth. And then complexity of the flavors, whether it has deep additions of citrus, spice, or vanilla for elevations, 15% for ease of preparation, and 10% for versatility and popularity. And Jill, do you know what it came back with as the greatest cranberry sauce by chance?
No.
Yeah, it's not the canned ocean spray, which was shocking to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Because that's all I've ever had. I don't know anything other
I've had
than
homemade.
But what's this with vanilla? Who puts vanilla in cranberry sauce?
Well, it's
That's
the
a little
vanilla. Like when people sip coffee or they drink wine, Mo, and they're like, "Oh, it's got a hint of oak
vanilla
tree."
overtones.
Yeah.
Hickory.
Apparently, you could do that with cranberry sauce too, according to AI. So, I spent tens of thousands of dollars probably worth of LLM GPUs that scrape the internet to determine that orange cinnamon cranberry sauce is apparently the greatest cranberry sauce out there. It's inspired by ones like Mom on Time Out's Best Ever and variations from Joe Cook's Sally's, whatever the heck that means. Apparently, it wins for its exceptional balance of orange brightened tartness, subtle depth of cinnamon, chunky texture, and only a 15-minute prep time. So there you go. That's the best cranberry sauce. But then I decided let's burn out some more GPUs over, is it better lingonberries or cranberry? Is it lingonberry, whatever.
Yes.
So many sources note, by the way, that lingonberries have a milder, more balanced profile, which is exactly what our commenter said was the case. And it's more versatile. And cranberries shine in bold holiday pairings. So nutritionally, both are antioxidant rich and apparently very good for you. So there is no real clear winner, but they said for a Thanksgiving vibe, cranberry wins. So I don't know.
Okay.
What I do know, Jill, is that we burned a lot of GPUs and wasted a lot of AI power to talk about nonsense. And thus,
Now, did you say what we say in the AI world, like a panel of judges? Or was this just one model's opinion? Because another model might have another take on this.
See, I went with the Gemini Pro versus the ChatGPT Pro. So there's only two panel judges here. We could have thrown in some maybe
Mistral.
Anthropic, Mistral, and some Llama in here as well. But those were the two.
Okay, so then how did you combine the two judge ratings?
Not in a very... Well, I don't like that you're judging my way of judging this cranberry sauce,
that's
Mo.
cool, Mo.
No.
Well, it's the way, I mean, if you want to burn those tokens, man, get some more judges on your panel and combine the results in another way. And,
I got the initial one from Gemini Pro, and then I put it into ChatGPT and asked it if it agreed with this rating system, which obviously ChatGPT, wanting to please you, always says, yes, you've created a fantastic rating system here. And I agree with it, so it's not.
Yeah, but did you tell it came from Gemini?
No. See, then it would fight.
Sometimes if you say, like, hey, ChatGPT, Claude told me blah, and then it'll be like, oh, well, Claude was obviously wrong.
Wrong, yeah.
they'll diss each other.
I feel like you're giving some really good secrets on prompts here because I didn't think about that. Like, tell it, do you agree with this other model? Do you think it's better than you, or can you come up with something better than this? You're kind of like pitting them against each other.
Pit them against each other.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. It looks like the great cranberry debate is still out there. It looks like we have still, through thousands of GPUs, we've cost everyone's energy bill to go up $7. We still don't know the answer to what the best cranberry sauce is because Mo's gotten all scientific about stuff here. So,
well, I can tell you, as someone who's Swedish and has grown up with lingonberry juice and jam, I think lingonberry is the winner. But I do like cranberries too. I do like orange cranberry as well, because my grandmother used to make orange cranberry. She never put the cinnamon in it because I'm allergic to cinnamon. So, but I love the orange cranberry. It is delicious. And lingonberry juice is some of my favorite. I get that every time I go to IKEA.
You're allergic to cinnamon. What a sad life.
Yeah.
Cinnamon is so great. That stinks. Have you ever had cinnamon? Well, obviously you found out you were allergic to it, but
yeah, I have a hard time breathing after I have it.
Oh no, gosh.
Yeah, it's a really bad reaction I have to it.
That's crazy. Well, sorry about that. But hey, the orange cranberry sounds very good. I don't have any play in this game because I don't like any of it. Like, I'm not a cranberry sauce person in the can. What is it? Ocean Spray, whoever makes the stuff that everybody gets. I don't.
Ocean Spray.
Yeah, it's not something I ever was like, I want that stuff. It's what I skip when I'm, getting a Thanksgiving dinner. But knowing that it has so many antioxidants, I don't know if the canned crap does, but that's something. There's something good there. All right.
I used to have to drink cranberry juice when I was a kid because I had digestive problems, and that's how they solved it. And when I was a kid, I didn't care for it, but I had to drink it anyways. But as I got older, I grew to like it.
Do you use Ocean Spray cranberry juice, Jill? Is that the best out there?
I like Welch's or Trader Joe's.
Okay. Well, listen, quit throwing your money in my face, okay? Some of us can't afford Trader Joe's.
Were you able to cut it with something, or did it have to be pure cranberry? Because
fortunately, I could put water in it, dilute it. Because when you're a little kid, cranberry juice is not usually that good to like most kids.
Yeah, it's so intense when you have it and it's not cut with anything.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this is why I love our community. Who would know we would have 12 minutes of a show on Linux taken up by cranberry sauce? But I think it's really interesting, and I'm going to tell you guys why. We had a comment. It was actually a really great point when we were talking about AI, where somebody said, hey, I think that maybe the amount of energy and everything's being used up for training the models, not necessarily for the prompts. So we did some research and found out that, yes, that was indeed the case, but that's actually switched. Now they are estimating that 60% of the power, up to 60% of the power, is coming from prompts themselves. And that's because we've integrated AI into everything. Now, as you all know, I'm a fan of AI in some instances, in many instances. I think it does some great things. Do I think they're putting it in too much and it's being overused? 100%. Like, you've got it. We've got to stop. Every product now, I buy a pack of bubble gum and it's like, now with AI included. Like, I don't need it there. I don't need AI in everything. And I certainly don't need it for every search I do and everything I'm looking up. And that was kind of the joking point. But I do think it's interesting that every company wanted to integrate and get on this bandwagon. And I think now it's time to kind of scale back and say, where was it actually useful for us? And where should we probably not have it? And so that was kind of the whole consideration there. But still, really funny way of making that point, Jill, of cranberry sauce. So there you go. You never know what our listeners will latch on to.
That's awesome.
But we love you. You're part of our show. That's what makes you so special. So send in your comments to comments@destinationlinux.net and let us know what you think. And it may show up on the show. So as Linux users, we know what's up. Security is non-negotiable, but with threats getting smarter, like with AI, your security tools need to keep pace without dragging your systems down. And traditional agents leave blind spots. It's time for a smarter approach, and that's why Destination Linux is proud to be sponsored by Sandfly Security, a revolutionary agentless platform designed for Linux. Why are we here? For Linux, not cranberry sauce. Linux, and Sandfly is all about Linux. So go to destinationlinux.net/Sandfly and see how they can transform your security strategy. They have a free trial for businesses going on right now, and there's been amazing. We just had Craig Rowland on. He talked about some training videos that he's done, which are fantastic. They're like less than 10 minutes. You can have Sandfly deployed. You can even do it through DigitalOcean, which Timothy Lisko of DigitalOcean says Sandfly is one of the most exciting pieces of security tech they've seen recently. They're excited to not only be a customer, but also offer their integrated solution. Sandfly doesn't just detect and respond, revolutionizes with SSH key tracking, password auditing, drift detection, covers threats from every angle. Experience security is not just effective, it gives you peace of mind. And check out the home edition of Sandfly Security. It's now available. It's an offer to our listeners by just using the discount code Destination50.
And dive into the future of Linux security at destinationlinux.net/Sandfly and see how Sandfly can transform your security strategy, and make sure to watch the last episode of Destination Linux with the CEO of Sandfly, Craig Rowland.
All right, Mo. So one of the things we've been doing is we've been rotating through guest hosts here is we let them pick a topic. And you picked a topic that I didn't expect. I thought we were going to have some Red Hat thing here, or maybe some engineering or AI thing, but you picked something completely different. What did you want to talk to us about today?
Sure. So my part of the reason that I work in sort of the user experience field on Linux, like kind of part of the reason for my career selection, was because when I was a graduate student at RPI in New York here in the US, I was involved with a project called Connected Kids. And we refurbished donated PCs with Linux and helped teach kids at community centers how to use them. And sort of part of the goal of the project was sort of to bridge the digital divide and make sure that these kids who otherwise wouldn't have access had access to hardware and software, and they wouldn't have that barrier to, you know, being able to learn and explore and get ready for college and things like that. And as part of that experience, you know, because these were kids, it was Debian. Don't tell anybody at my job. It was Debian, but they were using it was GNOME. It was like GNOME 2. So it was like pre-GNOME 3. And they were using tools like TuxPaint, like GIMP, and at the time OpenOffice, because it was that long ago. And, you know, just getting them to kind of figure out the basics, and like understand like how it worked. I'm like, man, you know, it'd be a lot more efficient instead of me explaining this one quirk of the desktop interface in Linux. Like, if we could just fix it and make it easier to use. So like part of the impetus for me to actually leave my graduate program and go try to do that at Red Hat. Now, whether or not I accomplished it, you know, but there is something I think special about the open source community, in that when we work on things, we make them available for anybody. And I think there's this agency that you give people over the technology that they use when it is open source, and they have a way. Like that one bug that like kept coming up. I mean, I filed tickets on it upstream and I was able to talk to developers. I don't actually recall if it got fixed or not, but it was one of those things where I had agency where I could go and talk to somebody. I could look at the code. I could play with it. There were different hacks we came up with for the desktop to make it easier to use for the kids. But the main thing is like giving access to people who otherwise wouldn't have access, and allowing software freedom to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to have it. So recently I met a very intelligent young man named Adi. He's a high school student, and he runs a similar project today from his high school in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's called the UpTech Project. He was inspired to start this program because he noticed his school has a scholarship program that they use to fund graduating seniors to get laptops for college. And the 1 year he noticed this program going on, only 2 of the 20 students that needed laptops were able to get them from this program. So that's when he came up with the idea. It's sort of like, well, could we get donated laptops and refurbish them with Linux? And could that be a path? So he had this vision that more students could be helped that had this need with Linux-powered upcycled laptops from donations.
Man, that's an incredible project. We worked with, on this show, a project back in, it's been a few years now, Jill, where we were doing some hardware we were getting refurbished, and I'm trying to think of the name of the project, but it's out there for one of the listeners to check out. But that's what they were doing, is trying to get donations of hardware. And we had a lot of people send in their donations, because a lot of people don't, they want to keep their laptops. They obviously don't want us to have them show up in some bin somewhere or just throw them in the trash. But they're not quite sure what to do with them either, because maybe they've got newer stuff now. They don't know what to do with it. So we had a lot of people donating some of their older equipment. And I'm hoping people can do the same with this because it's such an important project. I think, especially in the United States, sometimes we can be so sheltered from things going on in our local communities, we don't realize that there are tons of students that do not have access to the internet. There are tons of students. Like, I know it seems weird in our world that somebody out there in the US doesn't have access to the internet, but there's actually hundreds of thousands of kids that do not have access to the internet when you look up statistics. There's projects like the 1 Million Project, I think it's the 2 Million Project now, and other things where they try to get internet. There's kids who have no access to libraries. In their community, there's no libraries for them to go to be able to do their schoolwork. And like in this case, there's kids who are out there who have no access to laptops and hardware. And imagine the disadvantage that you're at if you're competing in a school where, 5 out of the 10 students have a laptop and those other 5 don't. Like, what a disadvantage that puts you at, because you can't go home and continue your studies. You can't go home and work on those projects and things to learn more on the side. And so that's why projects like this are so important. And what I love about it is right now, money's tight for a lot of people. So going out and saying, hey, donate a bunch of money, and then we promise we're going to buy a bunch of laptops and give it to kids and stuff, is really hard for a lot of people to swallow. Not that those aren't important, but it's very difficult. But if you look around your house and you see that you've got some extra laptops laying around, I remember when we did it, Michael had like 5 or 10 laptops sitting on his back shelf that he ended up donating because they literally were props for the back of his set forever. And so he donated to the hardware that way. But I know there's a lot of people in our community that are out there kind of in the same thing. So Mo, how can people get involved with this? Like, where are these chapters, and can people donate stuff to this now?
Yeah, so I think all of the chapters right now are in Tennessee, in that area.
Nice.
So
Okay.
one of the things Audie would like to see is more expansion of the chapters, because they've sort of paved the way and helped other schools in their local area start up on this program. So if other high schools across the United States want to join, they have a program where you can sign up. It's uptechproject.org. So
Nice.
right now they have those 3 local chapters, but they're looking for students across the country to kind of sign up and join them and kind of share lessons learned and things like that. And I think, again, this effort really connects strongly to what drives a lot of us in the open source space, is democratizing technology, giving everybody access and agency over the technology that they need to achieve their goals. So there's a couple other things. So if you have 2017 or newer gently used hardware to donate, and if you are local to an existing chapter, again, it's in Tennessee right now, you can contact them at uptechproject.org. I don't know if they can accept donations outside of that area, but what you could do is, if you know of a high school in the area where this might be a need as well, you could partner with a local high school student or motivated community member to start a chapter and then start a donation drive in your local area. So those are 2 kind of really clear ways you can pursue to help this project.
Oh, this is so amazing. And Ryan, we were looking for, it was Free Geek. I was trying to remember.
Geek. Thank you, Jill.
I was
hoping we would be able to come up with it.
Because I donate to them every year. And Mo, I think this is just so amazing because it's a local, homegrown, local high school kid, helping the local kids out. Well, I had worked with Computers for Kids, which is basically the same thing, but does this worldwide. And they go into poor communities like Venezuela and South America and actually set up computer labs for people who don't even have, they have dirt floors. And it's an amazing program, and they've grown huge. And my organization, Linux Chicks of LA, we used to have laptop install fests for the Computers for Kids, and the laptops would get sent to different countries. So what's awesome about this is it's local in the United States, and you can do this as well right here. It's awesome.
Yeah, what to me is amazing about this too is that a high school student had the motivation to fix this issue, to go out there and solve this. And it's just, the young people in this generation impress me so much with the initiatives that they take for solving problems like this, instead of just allowing it to exist, or even frankly sitting on social media and complaining about it. This person's like, I'm going to go fix it. I'm going to be the one to fix this. Not an adult, not all the people that probably should be fixing this. They took the initiative to go and fix this. And I'm so proud of them for doing that, and just not, like I said, complaining or sitting back, but actually solving it. And I just had a conversation with somebody who scores music for movies. And we were having this, and I didn't get their permission to give their name, so I'm not going to say it. But they do a lot of films and do a lot of work in the music scoring. And I asked them about open source because they were talking about all the subscription services that they have to utilize for all the various software they use for this. And they were like, no, what's open source? So I had this whole conversation, but they weren't really interested until I started talking about the digital divide portion. So I kind of switched my tactic to be more like, hey, there's a bunch of budding musicians and people who want to do what you do for a living, and they can't because they can't afford those subscription services. And they'll never have the opportunity that they may be the next greatest, music composer out there, but because they don't have, access to that software, they're not going to have a chance to ever show off that talent. And that's what open source solves. And all of a sudden their eyes lit up and they're like, well, what is some open source software I can use for this stuff? So I think this is one of the big messages in Linux that sometimes that we forget as all of us grow up and have careers, and maybe we have some money to go buy some of the things that we want and stuff, that there was a time when we were all broke. I still feel like I'm in that time, but we were really, really broke. And a lot of the stuff was outside of our grasp. And it's even worse for a lot of people out there that the stuff's completely out of sight for them. So it's a very important project. And I love that you brought this to the show, because I think it can inspire more high school kids, adults, and things to start projects like this in their community. And now you've got someone you can reach out to and talk to and say, how did you do it? How can I get started? How can I do this? And I'm sure they would be happy to help.
Yeah, we have a lot of kids and high school kids that watch the show. So this is really good to let them know, hey, there's this organization doing this. Maybe you can start your chapter. And it would just be fantastic.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's beautiful. Anything else, Mo, you want to add on that? Or we good?
No, I don't think so. I'm thrilled to hear you have some high school listeners. Hopefully they're inspired and can understand, listen, you can do it. Look around. Who else is going to do it if not for you, right? Why don't you give it a shot? And you learn so much by running a project like that. You learn a lot of stuff that will serve you later in life. So yeah, if you're into it and you're into Linux, this is like a perfect way to give back to your community.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point too, because those community, being able to run a community event like that, obviously the benefit is all the people you've helped and things, but also for your resume and things, being able to say you organized something, you saw a problem and solved it, is going to be a big deal. That's going to put you kind of in a league of your own against other potential candidates out there, because that would impress the heck out of me if I was hiring for a position and saw somebody took that initiative on their own. So think about it that way as well.
Yeah.
Prime college essay material.
Yes.
There you go.
And transferring to another school too.
Yep. And Jill's a professor. She knows. Yeah. She knows this stuff. Speaking of it, Professor Jill.
Yes.
Tell us about 2025. What were some highlights of 2025 for you?
Oh gosh, so many good things happened in Linux in 2025, including Linux has officially surpassed 5% desktop market share here in the US, reaching 5.03% according to StatCounter global stats, and that is just going up. This is, a huge achievement for Linux and the open source community, especially since last year we hit 4% in February. So in just over a year, we hit 5.03%. And that is huge. We're almost tipping the scale to like 5.5 right now. We're up there, and worldwide it's over 4%. So that's just going to keep growing as well.
And that number was stagnant for a long time.
It was stagnant.
So
it was 2.5% for years and years.
For years. And then all of a sudden, it just started jumping. And Mo, you brought up an interesting point of some thoughts on why you think that might be. What do you think might have caused that jump?
Windows 10 end of life this fall.
Yes.
May have
Absolutely.
inspired some folks. If you got to make a switch anyway,
Yeah.
make the switch.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you, Microsoft. I guess you really do heart Linux after all.
Yes.
So appreciate that.
Good one,
it was
Ryan.
a good jump.
Are there any other theories? Did the study talk about theories?
Yeah,
or-
so I have gone into, actually, when this happened, I had gone into a lot of detail on why it happened. And one was that Linux was becoming a first-class citizen with gaming, because we have the Steam Deck and other devices now.
course.
And also because of this. 90% of Windows games have a near perfect launch on Linux, according to the wonderful website stats from ProtonDB.com.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like when I got into Linux, which is, Jill, I don't know, what is it, 7 years now I've been in Linux? Not long compared to everybody else, it seems. But gaming was like, I remember my channel, one of the things I wanted to do was show that there were certain games I could get running. And it wasn't easy to do those videos because getting a game to run in Linux back then wasn't so simple. And I had one of the first videos of getting Doom 2000. What was it? Is it the new Doom was 2012 that came out? Maybe
2012.
One of the first videos of showing that running on Linux, and that took some hacking
Vulkan
to get done, as I recall. And this was not an easy process. And now, if I want to play a game, for instance, Diablo 4 came out with a new Lords of Hatred expansion pack, and I was like, maybe I'll check out Diablo 4 because I haven't. And I was like, but does it run on Linux? And sure enough, I go on ProtonDB and it's like, yeah, it runs right out of the box. And it's like, now there's so few games that don't work on Linux that it's you almost take it for granted. Like, of course it's going to run on Linux. I don't have to worry about it. And what an amazing accomplishment that we're at 90% now. It's incredible. And I think the other 10% are just games that they put this anti-cheat rootkit thing on people's systems. It doesn't work anyways because everybody still cheats on these Call of Duty games and stuff like mad. That's all you hear people complain about. So they rootkit your whole system at kernel level to run this spyware, and it still doesn't stop cheaters. So I don't know what the good, but that's really the only thing left. Games that I know that don't run on Linux because we're not going to allow that crap on our operating system anyway. So, there's that. I don't know that I want those games. I don't want you anyway. That's where I'm at. I'm going to take my ball and go home. I don't know. That's awesome, Joe.
Isn't it nice to just launch Steam and hit the play button on just about
so
every
nice.
game? It's been so wonderful. Just so amazing. And I don't know if Mo knows, but I was with a network called LinuxGamecast.com. And for the last 15 years, we did shows on how to get things running on games running on Linux. So now it's just easy.
Yeah.
And I have another theory. On why people might be going to Linux. It relates to the Cranberry stuff.
Okay.
I have seen a lot of backlash against Windows desktop having AI features integrated.
Mm-hmm.
And Linux does not have those by default.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
No, I think it's interesting. There was an article that came out this week that talked about Microsoft scaling back on their Copilot initiatives, even to their investors. So this was announced to their investors that it wasn't selling their Copilot as well as they thought. And this is fascinating because a lot of people believe AI is in a bubble. Now, keep in mind, .com was in a bubble too. That doesn't mean internet went away. And that doesn't mean we didn't go all digital into the internet world. We did, right? Software as a service boomed after the bubble popped. So when people think of the AI bubble popping, I think a lot of times they think, oh, that means AI is going to go away. No, but it does mean it's going to reset. And people, like we were talking about earlier, are probably going to be going should we integrate it there? Does it make sense? Has this really helped anybody? And rethinking where they're spending their money on it. And I think that's a good thing ultimately, unless you own stock in AI companies, and then maybe it won't be a good thing. But for a while anyways, until it gets recalibrated. But I think that it's very interesting that you say that, because everything Windows has put out with AI is not necessarily a bad idea. Like, for instance, their snapshot feature, right? It's a kind of a clever thought of, hey, everything you do on your machine gets snapshot. So when you forget, what was that website? Or, oh my gosh, I overwrote that document and I want to go back. And I can do all of that with this AI integration. What did they call it? Snapshot or something else? I don't remember. Copilot something. The problem is that Microsoft didn't realize, I think, how much of their users' trust they had lost. And because of that, because they, through their privacy, through their metadata and other things, people never trust that. People aren't going to trust those new things that you're doing are going to be private. And then I think a lot of privacy advocates were raising really good points. Like, if a hacker gets a hold of that, they could basically go through your entire history of your desktop and everything you typed in and everything you did and every website you visited, and it's dangerous. And instead of trying to figure out a workaround, they just kept pushing it. And so I think it's a really important lesson for all of us in business or who run businesses, that you have to stay close to your community. And if you break trust, it's going to be really hard for you to launch a product that requires the people to trust you that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And so I think it's a good lesson and for everybody to think about. But you make a really good point, Mo, that may be one of the reasons why, a lot of people were coming to Linux. And I think, as Linux creators and developers, we need to be very cognizant of, yes, I think AI is going to be in Linux in some form, but is it opt-in or opt-out? These type of things are going to be very important for the future, because if we force it on people, they're just going to go somewhere else. Yeah,
and there needs to be like a total turn it off button. It should be off by default. And there's a lot of practical considerations for that. Like I don't know, for Windows desktop deployments at companies that say have different regulations about digital sovereignty, and can data from this desktop be processed in another country? And is that an okay? There's a lot of questions that it raises that if you can just turn it off, then you can sidestep. And maybe that's an issue too. I don't know how it's configured over there, but I think that the smart way for Linux distros to play this is to turn that stuff off by default. Let users opt into it. It's an early technology. Once people, the thing is like the human brain is not meant for this much change this fast. Like, we have to kind of habituate to things, right? So once it becomes a norm, then maybe think about making it default. But we are way too early to make things like that by default right now. People need to ease into it.
Yeah.
A lot of people think they're adaptable and really good at change. And I find, as somebody who's led people for a really long time, that it's the opposite of that. People really are not comfortable with change. And even when they put on their resume, they're a change agent, that just means they've been forced through a lot of change and they probably didn't like it. It's like, change is not, none of us want that, right? We want things that we're familiar with, that we know. And even when you go to a new desktop, that's one of the things we talk about in Linux, that you want an experience that's not so foreign from Windows, what people may be used to, that people have no idea. How do you open a file manager? How do you open a browser? You don't want to reinvent the wheel, in other words, with these things and stuff. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting how AI gets integrated and who comes up with the best way of integrating it in a very privacy focused manner. And I'm really excited to see if we can get through this bubble, what hardware can be produced, because the GPU is really, in my mind, it's a stopgap. It's not really efficient at doing what it's doing. And why I say that is because look how much GPU power and how many data centers and GPUs and everything are having to be produced and sold and sent into these data centers, running massive amounts of power to do this thing. At some point, somebody's going to come up with something more efficient to process this kind of data. Maybe it's quantum computing. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But I don't think GPUs are that thing. But the reason why I mentioned that is imagine a model in which we can run these very, very powerful LLMs just locally. And you start, not having to worry about all this privacy stuff of putting everything in the cloud. So that's my hope anyways. But Joe, what else do we have back on gaming? Boy, I went off on a tangent. It's Mo's fault. It's Mo's fault. It's not my fault. It's Mo. I'm blaming Mo. She brought up cranberries again.
Bring AI into the conversation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. And we're going to talk about it again soon. And the other big thing that happened this year, Valve recently announcing the Steam machine. We have been waiting for over a decade for a Steam machine. And now we're going to have it. And that will in turn increase Linux's growth on the desktop.
So, Jill, there was probably not a moment for the hardware geek in me that I was more excited about this year than the Steam machine launching.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what amazing timing when Microsoft's Xbox increased the prices on their monthly services and things, and then the Steam machine drops. And then I thought, what horrible timing when right after that RAM cost $1 bajillion. Because now their pricing for this thing is got to be, that's why they probably haven't released pre-orders or even the price still right now, because they're waiting for some type of break in the pricing. Because right now SSDs are being impacted by AI. The RAM is being impacted by AI. The GPUs are being impacted by AI. So all of this hardware now to build a computer is now costing 4 or 5 times. And what is everyone's expectation for the Steam machine? It's going to be somewhere around the cost of a console. So we're somewhere sub $700. And that's going to be really hard to pull off if the RAM itself is costing $400. So this is interesting. So I'm super excited. I hope they continue to wait until this thing does whatever it's going to do and somehow smooths out. But I think that's why we're in a delay. So I got super pumped for this, and then now I'm like in this waiting mode. Like,
it's been postponed, and I think Valve wants to try and price the entry level one between $700 and $750, but they're waiting for prices to adjust. Not 500% increase in RAM.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've got gold right here sitting in my machine because I bought this DDR5 RAM right before it went up, and I'm like, man, how much do I need this computer? Because I could probably sell this on the black market and pay off my mortgage.
It's like a whole new commodity. Like they used to talk about pork bellies or whatever. Now it's RAM chips. And how many RAM chips have you hoarded?
Yeah. You know how like in certain music videos, people hold up a bunch of cash to like show off how much money they have? Now it'll be RAM sticks. They'll be showing off like, look at all this DDR5, baby. Yeah, I'm rich.
And another gaming announcement was it's not just on x86, but on lower powered ARM devices like the Steam Frame VR headset that plays games beautifully thanks to SteamOS being ported to ARM and emulators such as FEX. So this is huge. It kind of went under the radar, but this is huge because ARM is really going to be, honestly, I think one of the futures of Linux with all the ARM laptops that are coming. And lower powered devices. So having games run on your little Raspberry Pis, it's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly cuts production costs as a somebody who is a huge proponent of repairability. I cringe to say this, but in the current market of costs of things, if you have everything on the same board, it reduces manufacturing costs significantly, which is one of the reasons why, of course, Apple went that direction. When you have your RAM, your GPU, and everything built into a single chip as well, or just a few chips right next to each other on a single board, it can reduce costs and also some travel latency as well. So it is possible you can do some interesting things with ARM if x86 hardware continues to be priced out of everybody's budget. So maybe. Yeah.
And what Mo said earlier, Microsoft deprecating Windows 10 and Windows 11 only working on newer hardware, leaving Linux the best install choice for older
It's the only thing
computing
left.
hardware. Woohoo! And then what's really been awesome is people are installing Linux on this older hardware, and then they realize how stable Linux is on the older hardware, and then choose to install it on their newer hardware they're either building or buying. So
Yeah. Very true.
It's all coming to fruition. Yay! The other Linux highlight is Wayland's desktop growth. You know, it may not have been the year of the
You're
Linux
going to get some
desktop.
nasty comments from that one, Jill. There's
Well,
half the community that's like, yay, and there's half the community that's like,
I know.
I don't want this. I like Wayland.
It may not have been the year of the Linux desktop, but it sure was the year for Wayland on the desktop.
Sure
You know, and
was.
I had predicted that the end of last year, if you remember, Ryan. That one I
Yeah.
got right.
Oh, so you remember your predictions and what you
Yeah.
were right in, but you don't remember what I was right in.
No, I don't.
Typical. Absolutely typical. Look, Wayland is interesting because I like the new technologies. Like, let me talk about Pipewire as an example. Like, completely revolutionized audio on Linux. Such a superior product all the way around. The things I can do with it professionally made Linux actually a professional audio desktop capable at that point because of that. Wayland has a lot of great features, but there's still a lot of bugginess in it. And I think that's where it gets a lot of people still hesitant on it. And I think when those get worked out, people are just not going to care. It's not going to matter. But right now, for instance, when I'm like doing screen recording, I'm doing a video in OBS and things. Now I can actually grab the screens and stuff, but there's choppiness and little glitches and things that happen that I don't experience outside of Wayland. So there's still some bugginess, but think about how far it's come. Because it wasn't so long ago, Wayland couldn't even do a screen recording from OBS. So this stuff will get better. And Wayland, certainly, whether you like it or not, it's dominated. So I think it's a great pick for the talking about what some major changes that happened this year, because Wayland is everywhere now.
Yeah. And as every Linux distro. Oh, go ahead, Mo.
Oh, no, it's a much better architecture. I mean, there are a lot of limits to X and a lot of jankiness that we can kind of move past. And it's going to enable a lot better things in the future if we can all move on with it. So,
faster, better multi-monitor support, better security. Yeah. It's just all around a better server. And, you know, as every Linux distro and DE adopts Wayland, the more development goes into it and the better it becomes. So next year, a lot of those issues, I think, are just going to get fixed quicker and quicker.
If you're mad at Jill for saying that, send your comments at destinationlinux.net and let her know how frustrated you are with Wayland. There you go.
Hey, I've been podcasting on Wayland for over 2 years. So
here's the deal, Jill.
Been working.
You never get the nasty grams. And I always get the nasty grams. Whether it's Michael will say something that's really nasty and they'll write an email about me. I'm like, I didn't even say it. And they still come after me. So I'm trying to hit the hornet's nest on purpose, Jill, to get the attention off of me. So just don't tell people that's what we're doing and we'll see what happens. So there we go.
Oh,
yeah. Jill needs some of the fun you all give me.
Okay. Okay. Another Linux highlight was Red Hat's Lightspeed. It's amazing. It's an AI command line assistant that is designed to help users with system administration tasks, troubleshooting, and learning Linux commands. And it is human readable and uses natural language for interaction. And I think Mo knows a little bit more about this than I do.
Maybe.
Yes.
No, maybe.
The best thing about the command line assistant is that the command is C, which is E equals MC squared, speed of light. I think that's like one of the coolest things about it. But the way, so I do have updates on real Lightspeed since I was on the show and talked about it a while back.
Yeah.
We have a new MCP server that we have put out. If you check out fedoramagazine.org, it's kind of on the front page. I think it was like last week we put the article out. And it's upstream project. It's called Linux MCP Server because we're not, Red Hat Fedora exclusive. You can use it on other Linuxes. And we're looking for people to try it out and, come build it with us, contribute. We have a model where instead of, so you may, if you've ever seen, well, let me step back. So what is an MCP server, right? An MCP server is basically a toolbox that you can offer up to an LLM, and the LLM can select tools from the toolbox and, here's my wrench and that'll call systemd, or here's my hammer and I don't know, that'll look in var log messages, whatever. And so you make this toolbox available to the LLM. So then when you're asking the LLM for help with troubleshooting your system, it can actually run journal control, grab your logs, scan the logs, give you an analysis, that kind of stuff. It's read only right now. And there's a specific tool set we provide. We do not provide an open shell. So, there's a lot of demos if you look around where people are like, I hooked up an LLM to my Linux and look what I did. Woo. And yeah, that stuff is fun and it's great. And your computer will maybe return to you in 3 broken pieces if you're not careful and if you don't vet every command the LLM is going to run if you give it an open shell. In this instance, we give it a controlled set of pre-vetted commands that it can run. So that being said, like if anybody wanted to play an experiment with this and kind of work with us in the upstream community on it, you could submit new tools for that tool set that we have or help us build out workflows, things like that. But it's an open project and it's the way we see things going, because right now we're on Lightspeed. It gives you knowledge. It'll connect to the documents and the knowledge-based articles and things like that and give you the info. And then with this MCP server, it'll give you live data from the system. You combine those two and you're going to get really nice help for your system and makes that system a lot easier to work with and troubleshoot.
Oh, this is amazing. See, to me, this was the AI of the year that was truly useful.
Yeah.
As we were talking about that earlier.
When we went to the summit and saw it, I was very excited about it because it was using all of the controls and things that I was interested in for AI and Linux in the right way. So it wasn't just some quirky little thing to ask what's your favorite cranberry sauce. It was, something that I could see extremely useful to system administrators, to even everyday users, because that's what I was hoping for, is that it would, at the time it was up for discussion whether it was going to be available in Fedora and other things like that. But I was like, this is so useful to new people or even experienced people alike, because how many times are we searching for what's that command again that does XYZ? Different things along those lines. Lightspeed is just, it's super powerful. I really love the direction that Red Hat's going with it. And I like that they're involving the community in these things. And that is how, when we talked about earlier, the trust factor, that's how you build the trust. When people are in there developing with it, they understand it, they can see it being built from the ground up. You tend to trust that thing a lot more. Like if I built my house, I know its weak spots and I know its strengths. Versus if somebody built it for me and I just move in, I don't really know those things because I didn't build it. So I love that that's their approach with this, and it's a very cool tool. I agree with you, Jill. It's one of the exciting applications of AI out there.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. And I like that you can ask it things like, why is port 12345 not opening? Or one that I actually did, write a bash script to monitor services.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, it came out with a really nice result.
Is that how you hacked my machine, Jill?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we may need to put some guardrails on there, Mo.
Think about it. It's interesting to think about it as like a new layer of abstraction on top of, say, shell commands, where like you can almost envision in the future. And our team has done kind of mock-ups to this point. I don't know if we're all ready for that yet, but the idea where you just open up a shell and it's almost like a natural language conversation. Yeah. And maybe it shows you what commands it's using under the covers as like sort of like a learning opportunity, but your primary interface is human language. Because if you think through like the history of computing, where we start from like machine code and assembly, and then we keep adding these layers of abstraction so that the computer as a machine is more coming closer to humans. And it feels like these LLMs, because you can speak human language, they're coming closer and closer, which is going to enable a lot more access and usability for the system. So I think it could be a wonderful thing. And I think when you think of it as another abstraction layer, people with generative AI tend to think about the output, the generation, but you have to think about it too as the input from the user and interpreting that and then converting it to like machine code or whatever. But in terms of like, what is the shell commands that you're running, things like that. So,
well, it also is like a helper as well along your journey. So like I saw, as I recall, a demonstration where it was like, I think they were doing Podman or something. And then it was like making a suggestion. You also may want to install container tools or cockpit Podman to help you out. Like it's helping you think about things that, when you normally create this checklist and your boss tells you got 15 minutes to get this thing up and running, you may forget. And so it's actually becoming a real virtual assistant too throughout the process. And I was thinking of the security help that it could provide as well. Because how many times do we have to deploy something really quickly? It's supposed to not be the permanent thing. We're just getting it up and running. And then 3 years later, we're like, oh yeah, I never really secured that thing. Well, imagine Podman sitting there in the background telling you, hey, this thing's not secure. Remember, we probably need to go in there and fix that. Like that's not an application necessarily that exists right now, but these are the tool sets that we can create, and it help make everybody more secure and more effective. And this is the type of AI I want to see. AI that doesn't replace people, but enhances their abilities, right? It helps your memory. It helps you get faster, better, and think about things you may have missed, but it's not to replace people. That's my hope anyways. There's my little speech. I'll get off my box now. All right. Yes. RHEL Lightspeed, super cool. Jill, but all of this is great. But the most exciting thing that happened this year is that our viewership increased?
Yeah, that is wonderful. Thanks to Linux's growth in all the areas we have talked about, including gaming, AI, development, cloud infrastructure, IoT, enterprise, and security. Our viewership and subscribers have increased hugely this year, and we have a lot of new Linux users as well as veterans watching and listening to Destination Linux. Thank you all so much. We appreciate each and every one of you and love you all.
I think it could be to do with, is it when we had Mo on? That seems to be when our viewership jumped. I'm just saying.
Oh,
it could be a Mo
absolutely.
thing. I'm just putting that out there. I think the number we had when we looked at it was a 42% increase in viewership, taking us into the hundreds of thousands of listeners to this show. And we're extremely thankful. I don't know why you listen to this show. We talk about cranberries and crap. I have no clue. But here you are. And I really thank you to all of our guests, like people like Mo and things really coming on this show do make a difference because we get different perspectives. We get to hear, what's going on behind the scenes with these projects. People trust this community to be kind and not be visceral, which you don't see a lot in this world. And so I'm just thankful on all of those fronts. You all rock, and thank you for helping us grow. Yeah. I appreciate it. All right. So Linux 2026 predictions. Every year, Jill, we do these. I always say
so much fun.
It's up to the listeners to hold us accountable. And they always hold me accountable and Michael accountable, but never you. But now we've got Mo on here that we can hold accountable and Jill hold accountable. And we're not going to hold Ryan accountable for any of the crap I come up with. So we know the rules of the game. Some of this is, part prediction, part hopefulness. Some of it may be part prediction, part silliness. But that's up for you to decide. But the first one that I'm actually really excited about is RISC-V spreads its wings. That's my prediction for 2026 is we're going to see more RISC-V, especially if this hardware debacle doesn't end. This could be the very thing that pushes people into looking for certain alternatives, right? I think RISC-V doubles down on its major hardware partnership with Google and Qualcomm. So that's not a prediction that happened. And we see them put RISC-V chips in their wearables and IoT devices like the home automation systems. Obviously, what is Google and Qualcomm's reason for this? Well, they're going to save money on licensing if you're using RISC-V. and you're going to reduce your dependency on a single. I love ARM, but you reduce your dependency on a single platform, which is very important. Like, I love a lot of these technologies, but I always want there to be competition. Like, you all know how much I loved AMD. When everyone was telling me I was wrong and AMD was never going to come back after Bulldozer, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. There's Lisa Su. She's amazing. She's going to turn this company around. And you all told me it wasn't possible. And I was right, but I still hate the fact that Intel's down right now. Like, I want Intel to be successful too, because the competition is important. It drives the innovation. If we just have one company dominating, which Intel dominated for a long time, it doesn't work well for the consumers. It doesn't work well for the growth of the tech. So I'm excited because I want RISC-V to come in there and help shake things up, make people think twice. Maybe we get a major hardware vendor like Lenovo come in and bring in a RISC-V laptop. It could happen. That's my hopeful prediction there. What do you think about RISC-V, Mo? Is Red Hat involved in RISC-V at all?
We do have Fedora support.
Oh,
we have a box in the office. Some kernel guys working on it.
I love hearing that. There you go. RISC-V. Jill, what do you think? RISC-V? You excited about
it? Absolutely. Well, as you know, and I've talked about here on the show, I'm, come from a history of big iron with old RISC processors, like from Sun Microsystems and whatnot. So I have been wanting an open source RISC option for years, and it's finally here. Yeah, it's amazing. The processor is very unique in how it works, but it just makes tasks so much quicker, and it's really amazing. And it's the new RISC-V standard is low powered, as compared to the RISC in the 90s.
It's an instruction set. It's an open source architecture, and it can be anything anybody wants to. Framework has a RISC-V, a modular main board. So they were a major supporter. That was huge news. That could go back into the big news for 2025. Framework, to me, is probably the most exciting hardware creator out there right now, because of what they're doing with the modularity, repairability, and upgradability, which is what everyone should be talking about right now anytime you do a hardware review. It's just, to me, it's one of the most important things out there, that we continue to have the ability to work and hack on our own systems, and that's not taken away from us. And Framework brought that front and center. Very exciting company, and when they support RISC-V, that's a big deal. I'd love to see other major manufacturers, like I said, Lenovo and other stuff, pick it up as well, but it'll be exciting to see what Framework might be able to do with it, and deep computing.
Deep computing. They developed the first RISC-V laptop, and they're pushing the boundaries of. They
do every time. Look, I did a video recently, Jill. My timing is impeccable. So I do a video while Cosmic is still in beta, and like 3 days later it releases out of beta. And the whole time in my video, I'm talking about, hey, don't judge it. It's in beta. Anyways, I think my prediction is Cosmic becomes the most popular DE on a Linux desktop in 2026. It's going to surpass KDE. It's going to surpass GNOME. And System 76 is going to release their first custom-made laptop as well to compete with Frameworks. I like the competition, love Frameworks. The System 76 is going to manufacture their own laptop that's also going to be fully modular, fully upgradable, and hot swappable like the Framework. And we're going to have some real hot competition out there where you're going to be able to choose between one of the beautiful beasts from either company there. That'll be amazing. But the main one is Cosmic becomes the most popular DE. Am I right or am I wrong, Jill? Come on.
I think you might be right.
Ooh,
I'm hoping.
Whoa. Now, Mo, I know you have tons of experience with Cosmic. Like, you were just rattling off all kinds of insights earlier in the show. So what are your thoughts on my prediction here?
I never heard of Cosmic before this show.
Well, maybe my prediction's not right if Mo hasn't heard it yet. So, no, but look, you're really busy doing other things. But Cosmic is still, it just got out of beta for the first time. So now it's an official desktop. We've got, of course, support in Arch, which is the most important thing. But now Pop! OS is launching with Cosmic. So they're not going to no longer come with GNOME there. So it's very exciting. And I think I piqued your interest, Mo, at least enough to check it out. So when we have you back, you're going to have to tell us your impressions of Cosmic DE.
I'll check it out. I'll report back. I'll have to hide it from my husband because he's an upstream GNOME developer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now,
yeah,
Mo,
it's completely made in Rest, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
And it's got...
Yeah, I'm really interested in like to see how fast it is because that's my main thing with every desktop I've ever used. It gets that lag. So I want the speed.
Now I feel a little embarrassed though because I was giving GNOME a really hard time off air. And I forgot that Mo's husband is a GNOME developer. I take back everything I said, Mo. I was just playing. I was just teasing.
It's all good.
And Cosmic looks similar to GNOME because that's System 76. That's what their platform was on, and they didn't want to change things dramatically for their users, so they just made their own version. So there you go.
Well, I think it's interesting because new desktop environments can inspire other desktop environments.
Absolutely,
and,
that's the beauty.
When I look at the things that I have an issue with in GNOME, and one of the big ones I mention all the time is the app indicator system, which is ridiculous. GNOME, stop it. And now that I have an insider, Mo, tell your husband to stop it and put app indicators back into GNOME, please. All right. So with that being said, this can drive innovation. So other desktops, like you said, Cosmic took inspiration from other desktops. Other desktops can now take inspiration from Cosmic. And we can make everybody like, what is it? High tides raise the low boat watermelons.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
There you go. Thanks. Yeah. So that's the thing. Rising tide lifts all boats. So there you go. So that's another prediction there. And then here's a big one. Windows fully abandons its current desktop OS initiatives and instead releases an OS that's entirely AI based. So think about Windows direction. How much attention has Microsoft really put into Windows as a desktop? We know they've been going ham on their server world, but from a desktop perspective, there's not been a whole lot of going on other than throwing Copilot onto everything, which based on the recent articles isn't necessarily working out so well. But we know Microsoft, they'll double down. They want to be in this AI race and in a big way. And hardware costs so much money right now. Think about a low-cost laptop or desktop hub that boots directly into a Copilot interface, will run programs from the web only, Office, Adobe, etc. There's no software installation anymore. We've made it completely idiot-proof and a horror movie for every one of us who are geeks. Everything is saved into OneDrive, so no disk drive needed. Memory is embedded on their ARM-based system because they're going to keep the costs as low as possible. What do you think? Am I an oracle or what?
Yes. I don't think that will happen this year, but
no?
but Microsoft for years has been kind of hinting at doing a cloud, Windows cloud release, and now that AI is in the mix, yes. So that is true.
Interesting, like what's old is new again. Like if you think about like back when we had terminal computing, where it was just like right, or even like a Sunray type situation where it's running off of something else.
That's what I'm imagining. Maybe the conspiracy theorists out there, take off your aluminum foil hat for a second, and let's go deep into the conspiracy that maybe the rising cost of hardware is all to push people back to not being able to own their own hardware and get that hub put into your house so that they have complete control of what you do on your computer. It's a conspiracy.
Oh, we're going to go back to the age of thin clients.
Well, that's kind of exciting and fun. But not this particular version of it, but the thin client would be kind of cool in the right instance of it. I don't know. We'll see. Linux desktop market share is going to climb to greater than 10%. It's going to happen in 2026. The Steam Deck, the Steam Machine, VR, all the Windows stuff. When Windows releases their Copilot terminal, then I think we hit 10% all day long. Boom.
I agree. Good one,
yep.
Ryan.
Yep. All right. I'm Notre Dame so far. Nobody disagrees with me. All right. My last hope, and this is not a prediction, though it's going to need everyone in the community's help to make this come true. And I've already seen really strong signs from this young, this new up and coming young population who are kind of revolting against this subscription based system that we've all been wrapped into. I don't know about all of you, but I am so sick and tired of getting the email that the cost of XYZ service is now going to raise next month another $3. And the cost of an XYZ service is now another $5. And it seems like every month, these subscription services, Netflix, I'm looking at you, and others are all constantly raising their prices. They can't get enough money. And I remember when they all started and it was like $6 and no ads. Now it's like $6 plus ads, or $12 without ads. And then it went to like $15 without ads, or with ads. And now it's like $20. And it's every service. Can you believe YouTube TV right now costs almost $90 or more a month for a television?
Yeah.
That thing started, I remember, like where they were doing
12?
deals where you would get YouTube Premium and the YouTube TV for like $29 a month.
Yeah.
And now it's $90 a month. And you know what happened is there was tons of companies that were competing for this TV streaming. I don't know if you remember, but there were telecom companies out there that were releasing their own version of of television streaming and all of this stuff. And then YouTube ended up being the winner. And when all the competition went away, what did they all do? They just kept jacking up the prices. Music services, all of this stuff. I want to get back to parents teaching their kids about the importance of owning physical goods.
Yes.
My own kids, you know, they love Fortnite and they'll get money. And I'm like, you really want to spend that money on this digital character skin that does nothing. You get no additional perks or advantages in the game. Spend all that money on your hard-earned report card on something you'll never be able to physically hold. Or as soon as you're bored with Fortnite and go on to the next game, you've lost all of that money that you invested. And not that some of that stuff isn't fun, and not that there aren't some subscription services that are good, but I think we lost our balance. We're like 99% subscription services now and 1% physical. And we at least need to get back to like 50-50, right? Because some subscription services are great, but it's a little bit like, let's get back to the CDs, the movies, the games on disc. I don't know. What do you think, Jill? Can we do this in 2026? Can we get it done?
Absolutely. It's already is happening. There's been, you know, the younger generations are now buying vinyl and CDs and cassettes because they're realizing, wow, it's cool to own something. You know, it's not digital. It's not, you know, in cyberspace somewhere on an internet hard drive. It's actually in their hands. And so it's been, for me, who's a collector of vinyl records and CDs and cassettes, it makes me happy because it's adding to I get to add more more stuff to my collection. Yeah,
because they've re-released so much on vinyl. We were talking earlier in the show, and I was mentioning, like, I walk through Target and Walmart's now, and I see in the vinyl section, it's not the adults. It's the teenagers that are sitting there buying these vinyls.
Yeah.
They're the ones going through the vinyls. And I saw this cute little couple, boyfriend, girlfriend in there, and they were picking vinyls out for each other for a date night. And I thought, how cute. Like, they're back to buying physical stuff, you know, and it's just adorable. And I love that some of the physical things are coming back, and I want it to continue in a big way. Mo, do you have vinyl? Have you been suckered into this expensive hobby yet?
I do have vinyl. I don't actively collect anymore, but in my youth, I definitely, I was, I'm very old, but I really liked Pearl Jam back in the day.
Yes,
and they had a fan club.
Yeah.
And they would send you vinyl singles that you couldn't get. You could only get them on these vinyls that they would send to you.
Wow.
And so I have like a whole collection of those. And I have my dad's old record collection from like the 60s and 70s, like original Beatles, things like that. So yeah, I do have a record player. So and I don't whip it out too often, but I like having those things. I think it's there's a warmth to the sound.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's almost ceremonial like it's like a more intentional, slow way of enjoying media as you sort of select the media, you kind of set up the system and you play it and you sit there and you enjoy it. It's not like this instant on demand, with ads interwoven, it's more of like an experience. And I like that aspect of listening to it.
I always refer to it as like poetry, getting to watch the needle go over to the track and playing it. I had did a radio show for over 16 years. And so me and my husband have over 1,000 records in our collection of stuff that's never been released on CD and cassette.
Jill, every time I think I've accomplished something, I have a few hundred. You just come out there and blow me out of the water.
She's so low key about it. Like she's so accomplished, but she's just so low key. Like
low key brag over there. Yeah, as the kids would say. You mentioned Pearl Jam. There's a fantastic line that on one of my favorite songs of theirs called Garden. Where they say, I don't question our existence, I just question our modern needs. And I think our modern needs need to go back to having more physical things. And what if a new company was formed, like that was called Back to Basics or Destination Disconnected, where they become the first $10 trillion company that just sells plain cars with manual roll-up windows that are cheap, appliances with no smart integration, music players, dumb devices with stupid good warranties. If somebody in the community wants to go launch this company with me, let me know. We'll be rich beyond belief because I think people are so sick of things. Like I'm hearing about these subscriptions for cars now where forever you've been able to just, remote start your car or utilize the remote to unlock and lock your doors. Or when you bought a car and it had 200 horsepower, it had 200 horsepower. Well, now when you buy a car, you have to buy a subscription service to remote start your car. Now, if you want to unlock the extra horsepower, you have to pay additional subscription. Like this is so out of whack. We have gone so far the wrong direction with stuff that there's got to be a company that just comes in and like, hey, we're going to go back to the basics. Because Jill, I was thinking of you when I was writing that part because you have a refrigerator that's like 10,000 years old, right?
Yeah. So my refrigerator is from 1974, and I was born quite a bit earlier than that, but it's still running.
She was born in 1972, in case you're wondering.
No, earlier than that.
Yeah. 1974.
It still works. We still have our avocado green stove from the 60s. That still works. We still have a dryer and washer from the 70s. That still work. I got a cool vintage kitchen, but everything still works. So it's so funny when people come over, they think we've gone retro, right? Like
you're like, we never went future, so
we never went future, and I'm like, this is original. Oh my god!
Imagine
if you wait long enough, you will be the coolest vintage person ever. There's just like that long uncool period, but then we have
it's
one
like
of those
hairstyles, right? Yeah.
We have one of those the pink tile bathrooms from the 1930s in our house.
Oh, nice.
But like the person who owned the house before never updated it, and now that's kind of cool now. So
yeah,
we're
it's
okay.
cool. Keep it.
Just
Looks
keep
nice.
It.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I cannot believe, Jill, that you have an appliance that's lasted 51 years and some longer.
Yeah.
There is nothing I think you could buy anywhere today that would last more than 10 years practically. I had, for the first time ever, I bought this new house. It's not more than 2 years old, and the microwave died. In all of my existence, in my 25 years of living on this earth, I have never had a microwave die, like ever. And the fact that this microwave broke after 2 years, and then I called and they're like, they had like a 6-month warranty. Like they don't even believe in their own crap products.
Yeah, that's how it
is.
is.
It's just, it's unbelievable what we've been duped with in this world of, and the microwave to replace it because it was one that was built into the cabinet was like $400 or $500. And anyways, we ended up getting the builder to they were just nice enough to just fix it, even though we were out of warranties and everything. But the point is I remember going into Walmart and getting a microwave, and I sound like that old person, get off my lawn, for like $20, and it never broke. They lasted forever. And now you can't get anything to last, and we're paying twice as much for everything. And gosh, this is an old person discussion. But my point is, let's go back to the basics.
We have yelling at clouds.
Yes.
We have
clouds.
a fridge that it is less than 10 years old. And it had to be special order. It was a 1930s house, so you can't just buy any fridge because it won't fit through the doorway type situation. But it's supposed to be a good quality fridge. It has like the whole casing inside has a crack down the middle. It still works. And then the shelves on the doors like kept cracking and falling apart. And each shelf is like $75 to replace.
Oh my gosh.
And we had bought like the Uber mega warranty that was almost like the price of the thing itself, because we have all sorts of refrigerator sad tales. So keep that fridge running, Jill.
Yes.
Keep it going. We found these metal baskets that like fit exactly in the shelves, and they were like at the dollar store. So now that's the shelves in our fridge because we couldn't be bothered to be
improvised.
And that warranty does not cover the shelves. They said no, the warranty. This was like the Uber mega warranty, right? Where like, oh, if you have food spoilage, then they'll pay you for the price of the food, kind of thing. They paid nothing.
But
they're like
shelves.
The shelves aren't considered part of the fridge.
There's always a gotcha with these warranties. There's always this gotcha. Like it's so annoying, and this is, and you spend top dollar for this stuff too. Like it's unbelievable what you pay for this stuff, and then it's just There's got to be someone come out there. The company Back to the Basics or Destination Disconnected. I'm telling you, $10 trillion company right there. Mo, what are your predictions for 2026? I know you got some big ones here.
I got two.
Okay.
The first one, and I know there's many people on the internet right now who are going to sigh when I say this, but I think we're going to see more AI integration in Linux. I hope that it will be intentional, and I hope it will be measured. I hope that it is fully opt-in, turned off by default, focused on models that run locally, that don't run outside of your system or send your data to third parties, but provide you like very, very intentional, useful, ease of use improvements to your desktop. And like, you know, the thing that I have dreamed of for a long time now, because when I upgrade my system, my home directory stays the same, and it is quite a mess, and it is very old. It's sort of like the housekeeper for my home directory. Like I would love to have an LLM just parse through the files of my home directory and suggest schemes for organizing the folders and documents, and like that those sort of nice little intentional quality of life improvements. Nothing crazy like going through all your stuff and, you know, unnecessarily AI for the sake of AI. No, but just low grade improvements. I think we're going to start seeing those types of things. I think there's a lot of upstream projects, my own included, the Linux MCP server, but there's other ones too. Like there's the LLM, the name of it is LLM, but it's actually like it's in PyPy, look it up, but it's a very cool project. I think those will start becoming mainstream, I hope, because there is a there. It is useful. Let's let people make use of it.
What I love is the keywords you use there. You talked about local models. You talked about being in by default, and people being able to have the ability to turn it off. You talked about being intentional and measured. And I think if all of those things are true, even those that are like, get off my lawn with AI, will at least be able to accept that you don't have to play with it. You don't want to. You don't have to. And that the choice is what's important there. But I love your dream of it, what it can do too, because that would be very useful. A local model running through my files and finally organizing them for me. The dream, right? I mean, I've got a lot of old stuff too.
I think the Linux developers know what AI should be doing and how it should be improving our lives. So absolutely.
Yeah.
And giving people that access, and just, I don't know how to show it off. Like, I think the focus at some point, because AI, honestly, to me, is an implementation detail. The main thing is the clean my home directory, or, organize my files, or alert me to suspicious activity in the logs for access to the system. Like, those are the actual features. AI is just an implementation detail. And I wonder if there's ways that, because honestly, there are features that have been in different apps in Linux for years now. Like the one that I like to talk about that has been such a lifesaver for me is in Kdenlive. They have a whole UI baked into the interface where you can download voice to text models that are open source licensed. And it does auto transcriptions and closed captions and subtitles for you. It's amazing. And it works so well. And that's just like low key. It's just there. And they don't sell it as, ooh, Kden Live now with AI. It's just literally like the auto subtitle tool. Right. And so those sort of things where you're thinking more about the value that it provides, the functionality it provides versus like AI is just an implementation detail.
Yeah, no, brilliantly said. And you have a second prediction that my jaw hit the ground when I saw this one. So what is your second prediction, Mo?
My second prediction is in 2026, Jill will be sporting a rainbow colored Mohawk.
I love this. I love this on so many levels. First of all, Jill, it would be amazing, and you could rock the heck out of that haircut. Secondly, our guest asked for it, so you have to do it.
Oh,
like there's no choice, Jill.
Yeah.
What are the odds that this is going to happen, Jill, in 2026? Based on Mo graciously came on this show to help us host here. I feel like we owe her something. You know,
I actually love the idea. I've always wanted to make my hair pink, but I'm getting close to 60 years old and it still hasn't been pink.
Well, there's no better time now.
It's never too late.
I agree.
Now's the time.
But I love rainbows, as you can tell. And I've always liked mohawks on people.
All right, so you're saying it's a possibility in 2026. We will see Jill with a mohawk. Yeah. Is that what I'm hearing?
Okay.
Okay. All right, good enough for me.
It's on the record.
So, we were going to go into Software Spotlight, but this conversation's been so good. We've run long, so we're going to save it for next time. But I do want to tease the fact that we will be having, we're in the talks to have somebody very, very important from the RISC-V world on this show very soon. So be looking forward to that. Again, our last show, 2025. We'll see you again in 2026. Mo, I can't think of a better person to end our 2025 run than you. You've been amazing to interview. You were amazing to talk to at the Red Hat Summit. You do amazing work in open source, and we love you. Just so you know, we love you.
Oh,
we think you're amazing.
You.
Really.
You're one of my favorite guests ever.
Awesome. Yep. So thank you for coming on our show, and a big thanks to each and every one of you. Without you watching or listening, continue to tell your friends about this show, giving this show 5 stars in your apps and all of that, people wouldn't know about it. We wouldn't be able to have amazing guests on, and we wouldn't be able to continue. So we owe you so much in 2025, and we're going to owe you again in 2026. And we just keep writing IOU slips because we're never going to pay back all of the awesomeness that you've given us. And if you want more of the show, of course, you can go to become a member of the show and get all kinds of perks like behind the scenes access to the shows and other things. And we're going to be doing a lot of crazy things in 2026. One of the things that Jill and I have talked about a lot is we're going to be getting way closer with the community. So be looking out for a lot more interaction with us, whether you like it or not. We're coming. And we've just got amazing things, merch out there that you can buy, all of this stuff. But the reality is, Jill, they just need to go to tuxdigital.com and check out everything we've got going on there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much good stuff there.
Oh, there sure is. And as well as some amazing shows we have here on our network. And head to tuxdigital.com to keep those Linux penguins marching. And make sure to watch Ryan's Darkenstein 3D game streams live on Sunday mornings or afternoons on his DOS Geek YouTube channel. Yeah. Or you could watch the VODs later and the other awesome videos he has recently released on his channel, like his Cosmic on Arch, an honest, unscripted look. So you can see a demonstration of Cosmic running on another distro other than Ubuntu.
Yeah, there you go. You check it out. And it's Arch. And by the way, I run Arch in case anybody was curious. Mo, I was wondering if you would do the sign off for the show for the last time in 2025 there. You see that little text at the very bottom?
I do. All right. So everybody, have a great week. And remember, the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Thank you, everybody.
Yay.
Happy 2026. Happy New Year, because you're not going to see it.
And happy holidays.
Happy Linuxing. all kinds of fun stuff you're going to do with Linux on the holidays. That's what we want you to do. Send us in our comments while we're on break all the cool things that you accomplished in Linux, whether you did lights with Raspberry Pis, whether you set up new home labs, hacking labs, whatever you did, played with some new AI local models, all of that stuff.
Linux MCP server. Give it a shot.
Yeah, Linux MPC server.
Yes.
And then Ryan, we can talk about our favorites, including the Linux MPC server.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, everyone. See you next year.